Hi, my name is Eddie Weber, and this is my case study on missing Booster Club funds. A little brief summary of the case. This is a well-respected middle school principal who works in a low SES school, and he was approached by a parent to see if the PTA would be willing to fund her daughter's trip to New York to march in a holiday parade for All-Star cheerleading. Also, he has no assistant principals, so he has to enlist the help of the PTA to run concessions in gate collections. And after their last home basketball game, he noticed that tickets were missing and about $50 worth of money was missing, so his funds did not match up. So, problem identification. What do we know? First off, this is at George Washington Middle School. And it has a declining population, and its SES status is also declining. So a lot of people are taking their younger couples and their money and moving out to the suburbs. A lot of the parents in this district work at the textile mill, and they chase each paycheck. So they're living from paycheck to paycheck, and money is tight. However, the community involvement in the school is very strong. They have a very active PTA and booster club, and the principal relies on these parent volunteers to help him with athletic events because he has no assistant principal that he can divvy out duties to. So he has to do his supervising duties, and then they are in charge of concessions and gate collections. There was one student in the middle school, Lucy, who is Alice Bowman's daughter, and she was recently recognized as an all-state cheerleader and afforded the opportunity to go to New York to march in a holiday parade. So, other things that we know, Miss Bowman approached Mr. Stevens about using PTA funds to help pay for Lucy's trip to New York. And Mr. Stevens politely told her that this could not happen because this does not support all students, and the purpose of PTA fundraising is to support the majority of students and not just one. At the last basketball game, Mr. Stevens also ran into Mr. Dumas, who was the supervisor at the textile mill, and was joking with him about stuffing the money back in his wallet, and he said he had to use a $50 bill to get to the game. When Mr. Stevens was counting the money in front of the security guard at the end of the game, or at the end of the game night, he noticed that Miss Bowman left a note in the bank saying that gate tickets 78 and 88 were discarded, which I'm assuming she meant 78 through 88, and therefore the gate money didn't match up with the ticket inventory, and there was a $50 bill not in the bag. So what are some other things that I would like to know? Was the money box kept in a secure monitored place all night? Did Miss Bowman see Mr. Dumas pay with a $50 bill, or did she collect a $50 bill at some point during the night, since that was the amount of tickets that were torn up? At what time during the night did the tickets get ripped? This would be important because it would allow me to see if this time frame coordinated with Mr. Dumas' arrival at the end of the first quarter. The other question that I had was Mr. Bowman at the game? That would be important to know to see if he was kind of an accomplice in this, if there was something going on. So what is the problem? So at some point during the night, $50 worth of tickets were unaccounted for. I think the issue lies in the fact that Mr. Stevens has to rely on parent volunteers to help him collect gate monies and run concessions for athletics events because there is no other administrator in the building to help him out with these duties. It also happens that the person that was in charge of gate monies that night had recently gotten denied by Mr. Stevens for her request to use PTA funds to send her daughter Lucy to New York to march in the holiday parade. That was a big coincidence and a red flag for me. So what would my plan of action be? One, the first thing I would do is call in Miss Bowman and ask her if the money box was in a monitored and secure location all night. Secondly, I would ask her if she collected a $50 bill that night at any point, and if she knew what she did with the torn tickets. I would then kind of probe her and ask her why she didn't alert me when this happened. Secondly, I would call in Mr. Bowman and ask him if he was at the game last night and if he remembers what ticket number he received. This would be good information to probe into because did it fall in between the missing ticket numbers? And fourthly, I would call Mr. Dumas and ask him who was working the gate when he paid. This would allow me to know who, if somebody else was monitoring the gate monies at that time, or if Ms. Bowman wasn't telling the truth. And then the last thing is there should be surveillance footage that I would be able to recall from the gym interest and review to see if I could pick up anything from that. As far as my problem resolution goes, first, if Miss Bowman was found guilty of taking the $50, I would at least give her a chance to explain herself. I know that times are tough, and she's wanting to do the best that she can, so allowing her to explain why she did it would be very beneficial. Secondly, I would have to request that she be removed from the PTA and not allow her to volunteer for gate collections or concessions again because that trust factor had been broken. Secondly, I would contact the district and see if there was any way I could get a part-time administrator that could help me with these gate collections at athletic events. This would allow for better safeguarding procedures to be followed because I have to maintain my supervising duties and I can't be monitoring the gate and concessions at the same time. So what was I thinking and valuing while I was going through this? My first initial thought was this had to be Miss Bowman, or it was Miss Bowman and Mr. Bowman, or she had some sort of accomplice with her. Secondly, I knew that she had previously been denied her request to get her daughter's trip funded by the PTA. And as a parent myself, you want to provide all the opportunities you can for your kids. So I know with how tight money is in the community that she was probably getting a little desperate and wondering how she was going to get all that money. And this was kind of one of her last ditch efforts. And she felt that at some point somebody felt that this small amount of money might be undetected or go unnoticed. But thankfully, Mr. Stevens has safeguards in place that prevented this from happening. Some things that I feel are still unresolved at this point is obviously the safeguards that Mr. Stevens had in place aren't enough. So we need to reevaluate those and reflect on those and see what we need to do to make sure that this situation doesn't happen again. The other thing is, why won't the district provide Mr. Stevens with any help? Obviously, it's one of the smaller middle schools, but if there's 450 students there, that's pretty significant, and that's a lot of undertaking for one principal. And then the last thing is what happens to the trust factor between the PTA and the school moving forward. If Mr. Stevens can't trust the volunteers to do their job and look out for the betterment of the school, where is he going to turn? So the standard 8, the way that administrators promote effective and efficient management of the school. A couple things on that. Obviously, Mr. Stevens had safeguards in place. He was using pre-numbered ticket systems, and he had precise inventory count on concessions, which helped him pick up on this missing monies. Secondly, he counted it in front of the security guard, so there he has his alibi in case somebody accused him of taking it. So that is a very important safeguard he has there. And he had clearly stated before that to Ms. Bowman that all PTA funds must benefit the majority of students, that it can't just benefit one. So he did a good job of promoting and managing the school there. As far as promoting the social learning of every student, he has a good relationship with all the students, parents, and teachers. He's very well liked. He supported Lucy's cheerleading accomplishment by announcing it school-wide and giving her recognition there. And then obviously community involvement is very strong with the volunteers through PTA and Booster Club, so they support their school. And the last reflection part, the academic learning. The school has a Reading Buddies program. Obviously, the volunteers from the community help out with that. He supports the benefits that PTA and Booster Club provides to the majority of the students. There are several activities that students can participate in, and the community is clearly behind this school, so that is in place. But that's my diagnosis of this case study and how I would go about handling it. The biggest thing that I've taken from this class and in this book is you need to make sure that you have multiple people that you can trust to help you with this and that you follow your safeguard procedures, and that will help eliminate the majority of the problems that you will encounter.